the Chofetz Chaim had pointed out that there's certain times where, because God takes over the evaluation and of a person's record, although it's far from perfect, but because the person lives his life in a very special way, and there's a concept, either measure for measure, or because a person does Chesed, God treats that person differently. And he's not exacting with the person. And he said something interesting. In the Modim, which is the last part of the Amidah, we give thanks to God for all that he does for us. And in the Modim we say, Al Nishmosenu HaPkudos, our souls that are held for safekeeping with you. Now, when a person sleeps, what happens to him? The Gemara tells us that when a person sleeps, it's 1/60th of death. When you sleep, your soul ascends to heaven, and every night there's an issue in heaven whether the soul should be returned to the person or not. You know, every morning we say blessing. God returns the souls to the corpses. A person sleeps is a semi-corpse. When we awaken in the morning, God has restored us to full life. Every morning we say Moda Ani. We thank God. We give thanks to God. You've returned our souls with great mercy, with great kindness. Not so simple. I mean, a person fails on a mission. Endless times over, you send them again on a mission. You say, no, enough. Cut my losses, end it. But yet, the mercy of God is so great that a person is able to live many, many years. Every day he sleeps and he awakens. God returns his soul. Why? The chemlosi. That's God's kindness. And as a result of that, that's what we have to acknowledge that. And that's what we say, Al Nishmosecha Pekudos. Our souls that are kept for safekeeping with you, with him. So the Chofetz Chaim points out, it's only because God oversees the case of that person, that's why he comes back to life. If God would allow the angels to do this, many people wouldn't come back to life in the morning. It's only because God's broadness and depth of kindness and mercy is so great, God doesn't make an exact evaluation of that record. Tell you a story. It goes back many years ago. And must have been about 1969. The government, they started a program in post-high school, college level. It was called work study program. What was work study program? That a college student, if you do some kind of level of responsibility for the university, you were paid. And the government would offer money to the university that the students were paid a certain wage, whatever the wage was. I remember it was $20 an hour. That if you worked on the university level doing certain things, which they gave you certain responsibilities, you would make $20 an hour. Okay? Which in those days, in 1969, even a small amount of money had significance. This is when we still had payphones. When you had to have nickels in your pocket to put them in the payphone, nickels and dimes. Okay? So what happened? So I was studying with a certain person, and I received work study. Of course, he was a younger person. He needed some level of tutoring, and I learned with him. And there was a certain underling who worked in the administration, and I went to him. I said, I want to tell you something. This person here that I'm studying with has tremendous potential. And it's worthwhile for the yeshiva to invest in him. In the future, he's going to be very special. So what I'm doing with him is not studying just with an ordinary student. I'm studying with someone who's going to be special in the future. And therefore, I think I qualify for a greater amount of money work study because of the service that I'm offering. The yeshiva, the university. This person, till today, he's already a man in his early 80s. I don't see eye to eye with. I didn't see eye to eye with then. All these years, I still don't see eye to eye with. He says to me, no, you get what you get. But you realize he was an employee. He was an underling of the administration. So my parents always told me, if you can deal with the head, you don't deal with the tail. What am I wasting my time? So I went to the head of the yeshiva, who headed the administration, where he made every decision. He said, it's not a problem. Definitely, you deserve more. As an underling, what are you? You're an autocrat. That's all you are. Part of the administration. You can't go outside the parameters of that you're permitted to do. You're not permitted. You can't make decisions on your own. But the one who's actually running the university, running the yeshiva, he can make those decisions. That this is the exception. Lahavdil elef avdolos. An angel is limited to what he's limited to. He has to make an evaluation based on what he understands, what he sees. God being God, when he takes over the case, he's not bound to anything. And because he understands the necessity and the value of a person, to give him endless chances, and that's how mercy interplays with our lives. So even though we're far from perfect, he treats us like we are perfect. Because the end result is something which is greater than what that imperfection may be. Because if God forbid he says something interesting. Just putting it on mute for a second.
Maybe if we signed out and then signed back in again, we would change. I even called.
Hello. 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 Let me try to call him.
Okay, I did, and it went to voicemail, and I texted him. But I think if we signed out and then signed in again, it would solve the problem.
It's actually a good idea. But good for you.
If he doesn't pick up, we'll do that.
Oh, there we go. You may have picked up there.
Mordechai. Ring. He must take some sleeping pills. Not sure. I hope he didn't overdose. God forbid.
It's not you, Rabbi. Don't worry.
I'm not worried.
We're wide awake.
Please leave your message.
Okay, let's sign out and sign back in and knock him off.